Hello, I'm Brian Fitzgerald, the Golf Doctor, and today I'm going to talk about lowering your golf score. Yes, really getting that golf score much lower. So this is the third video in a series of how to lower your golf score, and I look forward to helping you with a few things that are pretty easy to do. None of them involve changing your golf swing. So if this is your first time to this channel, welcome. This channel is all about helping you play better golf and lowering your golf score. And one of the best ways to do that is to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and then you're notified of every video that I create and release every Monday morning. So as I said, today is about helping you to lower your golf score. So in the other two videos that I've created on this topic, I've given you some little point-by-point things of what you can do to help lower that score. I'm continuing on today, and if you want to look at those other videos, I'll put a link to the playlist that I've created at the top of the page. So the first thing I want you to think of in helping you to lower your golf score is you should be practicing golf from sloping lies. Traditionally, people practice at golf ranges, and every golf range I've ever been to is perfectly flat. So I'm not talking about doing this on the range, although there are things that you can do on the range to help prepare you for this, and I've got a video that I've created on that, and I'll put the link to that at the top of the page here. I'm talking about getting out in the golf course and putting your ball on an uphill lie, perhaps putting it on a downhill lie, hitting a few shots from that, getting your brain used to the fact that we don't have perfectly flat lies on the golf course. Unfortunately, most people only ever strike that situation when they're in a real live game situation and they've never practiced it. So how could you possibly be good at it? Start to get and introduce that into your practice rounds. So play a few holes. We're coming into daylight saving here in Australia, so we can play golf later in the afternoon. Just play a few holes, put a few balls down, put the ball above your feet, below your feet, get all sorts of different permutations and just get used to playing it. You don't really have to know exactly the 5 steps you need to do to play those shots, but it is a really good thing to do to actually just get out and practice and just hit multiple shots, get used to it. And I think you'll find you'll get much better results. So the second thing I'm going to suggest is a lot of people struggle with their fairway woods. And one of the reasons they struggle is they use a 3-wood. A 3-wood doesn't have very much loft. And in theory, a 3-wood goes further than a 5-wood. But a 5-wood has more loft. It doesn't require the same amount of club head speed to help lift the ball up in the air. And I think you'll find that in most real life situations, a 5-wood will go further than a 3-wood for most people. It'll certainly get up in the air. It's easier to hit in the air. And if it gets up in the air, you're going to hit a little bit straighter. It may not roll as far, but that's okay. The maximum distance comes as a relationship between the amount of carry you get and the amount of roll. So a 3-wood will roll more, but if you're not getting that carry, you're probably going to lose distance. And in trying to help you to get the ball up in the air, you'll probably do a little manipulation that's going to cause some bad shots. So get rid of the 3-wood. Try it in the next few rounds. Just play the 5-wood, see what happens, and I think you'll find you get a lot better results. So my third strategy that you can employ to help lower your golf score is to try and develop a game plan. Many people don't have game plans. They tee off the first tee and then they react to what just happened when they're out on the golf course. And you can have good rounds that way, but most golf pros actually have a game plan. And you've got to have a game plan that's realistic. So consider your handicap. If you have an 18 handicap, you're allowed to bogey every single hole just to play to your handicap. So that's probably the goal, play to your handicap. If along the way you hole a couple of putts or you hit a couple of shots closer and you have a better score, well and good. But we have to prepare for the strategy of playing to your handicap. If your handicap is 27, you're allowed 9 double bogeys and 9 bogeys. So don't think of it as having to hit incredible shots to get pars and birdies. You just need 9 bogeys, 9 double bogeys. If your handicap is 9, there are 9 holes out on that golf course that you're allowed to bogey. And I see so many people when I'm having a lesson with them and they talk about, oh, they can't play the 3rd hole. And the 3rd hole at their course is the hardest hole on the course and they want to par it. Well, sure, you want to par it. You don't need to par it. You have a handicap of 9. You're allowed 9 bogeys. It's quite a legitimate strategy to play for a bogey on that hole. Certainly if you're in a position to have a par or a birdie, take it, but you don't have to. So I would be taking, you could actually use Google Earth if you wanted to, or Google Maps, and look at the aerial view of each hole and work out where you don't want to hit it. When Payne Stewart won his famous US Open at Pinehurst, he went through the practice round with his yardage book and he just crossed the areas that he didn't want his golf ball to go in. So he knew where he didn't want to go, so he either laid up to avoid that area or made sure he was on the opposite side to where that was. So sure, he's good enough to hit the ball where he wanted to, and apparently during that tournament there was only once he hit the ball in one of those spots that he didn't want to be. So that's a pretty incredible effort in 72 holes of stroke play. You may not have that ability, but that doesn't mean to say you can't use that strategy. So mark down the areas that you don't want your ball to finish with and make sure you find a way to avoid them, whether that be use less club, whether it be aiming in a different part of the fairway or a different part of the green, or trying not to hit the green. That's all part of the strategy. So try and develop that game plan. And if anyone wants a bit of a hand and you're in Melbourne, let me know and I can talk you through how to develop a game plan for you. And of course, one of the best strategies you can use to have a lower score is to caddy for yourself. If you've ever been in the position where you've caddied for someone, it's amazing how sound your advice is. They have a shot where they could hit it possibly over the water and get it on the green, but you advise them, no, don't, just play it down the right-hand side and then chip it on, 2-putt, take your medicine. Very easy to dispense that advice, but when we get and we look at ourselves, we say, oh no, I reckon I could knock this one over the water and get it on the green. And we just hit it a touch thin or a touch fat and the ball doesn't carry as far as what we need it to, and it ends up in the water. So we are full of good advice. We are all capable of making really good decisions. What we have to do is we have to take the emotion out of it and just think, what would I do if I was caddying for me? Look at the possibilities. There's always more than one possibility. Talk through to yourself, your caddy, what the possibilities are. And as I've often said, you need to be able to think, I can hit this shot 7 times out of 10. If you can do that, that's the shot to play. But if you're playing a shot you can only hit 3 shots or 3 times out of 10, that's not the right strategy to employ. So you want to hit the shot you know you can hit. You don't need to hit the shot that you want to hit. So when we hit the one, we really got to get better at hitting the shot that we know we can hit. And my final strategy is just leave the ego in the bag. One of the biggest causes of people having bad scores is ego. And I've said this time and time again. I'll continue to say it in lots more videos and lots more lessons when I teach clients. But the ego absolutely destroys your round of golf. Get the ego, put it in the pocket, zip it up in the bag, leave it there, make better decisions on the golf course, and I know you're going to start to have the best scores that you've had. Thank you for letting me help you with your golf. I'm Brian Fitzgerald, the Golf Doctor, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.